So the result of yoga, Yukta Swarupam, the person who is perfected his yoga. Yoga means meditation, Vedantic meditation. By Vedantic meditation, we call Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is Vedantic meditation. A person who perfects it, perfects means he reaches the end of the meditation, the culmination. So in this meditation, it's a discovery. It is an understanding. You move from understanding to understanding. Or in other words, you stay in the understanding. With all clarity, you stay in the self, which is understood as free from all impositions. You become free from all impositions. So the tentative impositions are vague impositions of body, mind, sense organ, time, space, etc. All these impositions, the qualities of the mind, the qualities of sense organs, I detach myself from, understand them are not me. So the understanding of the self remains pure, undisturbed, unaffected by anything else. That's what is all jnanam is. My Atma has to be understood as independent, untouched by mind, sense organs, the mental qualities, mental functions, qualities of the sense organs, functions of the sense organs, qualities of the body, functions of the body, relationship of the body. See, qualities of the body, functions of the body, relations of the body. Body is related to other. Body has got certain qualities, certain functions. These three, qualities of the body, functions of the body, relations of the body. These things I have taken upon the Atma. When the qualities of the body is imposed upon the Atma which is vast appears as a small. See, just like, take an example, pot space. When you see the space through a pot, the space, total space, all pervasive space is seen through pot. So the space is, first thing is, space is formless. The formless space seen through pot, it appears to have a small form. It appears of this much size. The size reduced. The size looks small. Not only the size looks small, because of the pot, it assumes a location also. The pot space assumes located. It is here. It is located in space. It has got a point. It is here. Actually, space is formless, pervasive. Formless space cannot have a location. It's not in one place, it's all over. Because of the association of the pot, imposition of the angle of the pot, appearance of the pot, we impose the nature of the pot is round. It has got an area, small area. This smallness, small size imposed on the space, the roundness is imposed on the space, because if the pot is round, the roundness, the area, when imposed on the space, space appears to have a shape and also location. Similarly, Atma is a consciousness. Consciousness itself is a shapeless, It's a dimensionless, it is infinite. Consciousness is infinite, but being associated with the body, or it is imposed, bodily nature is imposed. When I feel that when the bodily nature is imposed, I come to have a location. That means the consciousness feels that I am here. I am here. Here, the location belongs to body, so the bodily nature is imposed upon the consciousness. So the consciousness, in the consciousness, a thought arises that I am here. So the bodily nature is the qualities of the body. Body is subject to death, I am subject to death. Body is subject to birth, I am born. Body keeps changing, I am changing. Body keeps moving from place to place, I am moving. Body is here, I am here. Body is time bound, it is located in time, I am located in time. So this way, he relates to himself all the bodily qualities upon himself. Bodily qualities, body's functions. Whatever body is sitting, I feel I am sitting. Body is moving, I am moving. So the qualities of the body upon himself, the functions of the body upon the consciousness, and relations of the body. Body is related to other. Body is born to somebody. So I am a child of some parents. Then I am a brother of somebody. I am a friend of somebody. I am a member of the society. I am a member of a country, and so on. This way, body is related. So body has relationships. Then I feel the consciousness is related. First, consciousness appears reduced to a location, will have a shape, will have a form. Then all bodily quality it assumes. Assumes means I feel as if it assumes. So this is a misunderstanding, a misconception. Thus misconception has to be debunked. So in self-inquiry, what I do is, I try to understand how consciousness by its nature is free from bodily qualities, bodily functions. So the consciousness itself, when it is detached, when it is discriminated, not detached, it is separated in understanding. When it is understood as it becomes free from the bodily qualities. In understanding, the freedom in understanding alone. In my understanding of the Atman, understanding of consciousness is, it has no shape, it has no qualities, it is not subject to death, it is not subject to birth, it's not subject to change, it is not related to other because there is no other. See, space as a whole is all pervasive, but pot space is located here. There is another pot in front, another pot in the back, one pot is in the left, another is in the right side. When I come to have a location, I see somebody in front, somebody in the back, somebody on my left, somebody on my right. So this front and back and left and right, I come to have these because I am located. But the space itself is infinite, and infinite doesn't have front and back. An infinite space doesn't have what is in front of me, what is back. First thing is, there is no idea of front. The thought of front doesn't exist for space. If you see that you are total space, you have no idea of front and back and left and right. Because the idea of left and right cease, they don't exist. You come to have this relationship of front and back because of a location and a shape. Body has a shape, body has a location, then you come to have all these relations. So here we have to understand the consciousness is free from these relations. It is detached. It is free from relationships. So in this meditation, I watch, observe again and again and again. I come to see as consciousness, I am not related to body. I don't have the qualities of the body. I don't have the qualities of the body. If you are an actor in a drama you assume a role, a character. That character is related to another. If he is a hero, a king of a kingdom, he has got an enemy, inimical king. So he wages a war and here is a king and an enemy. So the character in the drama has an enemy. The actor doesn't have. Actor doesn't have any anxiety, any fear. In fact, he has no thought of enemy at all, because it is the character in the drama has a thought of enemy. So when I understand that I am an actor, not a character, the character's relationship also he gives up. Similarly, I give up all my relations of my individual. This individuality has relations. That individualizing a consciousness is jiva. Just as space is seen as having a form and located, total space, example I am telling, in the illustration, the total space, all pervasive space is imagined, is wrongly thought of, mistakenly thought of as if it is an individual, as if I am related to others. Now he has to, by watching, observing, no, I am not. It is wrongly assumed. I am wrongly assumed as an individual. I am wrongly assumed to be individual, wrongly attributed the relations upon me. I am not related. I am not an individual. So that individualization, a thought of individualization is a thinking alone, a wrong thinking. Why do you call wrong? It is not based upon fact. An idea is wrong. A thought is wrong. If the thought is not true to the fact, fact is one. I have a thought about it is different. It is pen, but in my perception, I perceive it to be a pencil. Here is a mistake. The thing is one. I perceive it as something else. So, with this, with my wrong perception, with my misperception, the thing itself doesn't change. The thing remains the same. It is in my perception I feel. So, when I perceive, misperceive, wrongly perceive, when I misunderstand, I carry that idea that I have seen it. Yes, it was pencil. I saw it was pencil. He carries in mind, yes, there is a pencil. There is a pencil. But actually there is a pen and not pencil. So to his mind, it is only a pencil. It is pencil. It is pencil. In his mind, what is sitting? The idea that is sitting is pencil, but actually it is not. So see here, a misunderstanding exists in me and not there. In reality, it is different. So consciousness in reality is not an individual. It's not individualized. Consciousness is infinite, but I feel I am individual. See, it's a very strange thing. Consciousness itself is infinite, but an understanding of consciousness, a thought about consciousness is that I am an individual. Here is a thought about consciousness. Consciousness is Atma. I have a thought about Atma. Atma is one. It's a thought about Atma is another. See the difference. Thought Atma is one. Thought about Atma is another. But the thought is sitting in place of Atma. In place means it is covering up. A thought about Atma is what we have. What we have is a thought about Atma, a notion about Atma. This notion about Atma is passing for the Atma. It is not really Atma. It is only it is like a picture about Atma, a photograph about something. A photograph about a person appears like a person. A statue about a person appears like a statue. A mirror picture, a reflection about a person looks like a person. In a mirror, a reflection of a person looks like a person. We take this alone is the real person. Oh, this is the real. Similarly, the reflection takes the place of Atma and it passes for I am the Atma. Then I, taking the reflection as an Atma, the real Atma is covered up and this reflection is sitting in the place of Atma. For me, not really there, for me, this reflection appears to be Atma, and then this reflection suffers all the problems of the body. Body is subject to birth and death. The reflection feels, and reflection means a thought, a conception, an idea, a notion about myself. A notion about the Atma feels that I am the Atma, it undergoes all sufferings. Notion about Atma assumes the bodily qualities of the sense organs, relations of the sense organ upon itself, and it worried, it suffers, worries, and when it is worried, it tries to correct the body. It tries to correct the sense organs, because when the body is corrected, I feel I am right. If body is wrong, I feel I am wrong, because my nature follows the body. Bodily qualities I take upon myself, then all those qualities I suffer. If the good qualities I enjoy, not only enjoy, I feel elated, I rejoice. When the bodily conditions are good, I feel I am in a good condition, I am in a good mood, I rejoice. If bodily conditions go wrong, disturbing, I feel disturbed. That means my feelings depend upon the bodily conditions, because the identity, my self-identity, that is the self, a thought of the self, conception of the self, idea of the self, the notion of the self is an identity of the self. My identity. My identity has taken up, has assumed the qualities of the body. So, in my identity, bodily qualities are included. Bodily qualities are included in my identity. I feel that's my real identity. Now, what we need to do is watch, observe what is my real identity, what is wrongly assumed upon me. That has to be separated, discriminated. This has to be discriminated. So, in Vedanta Vichara, what we have done in self-enquiry, the same thing we sit in a meditation seat, in a Vedantic meditation called a Nididhyasana. In that, what we have glimpsed, what we have understood as a flash, the flash slips down. It comes and slips. So, that old habit, because of the old habit, again those old things seem to be covering up. So, I try to retain that flash. I allow the flash to come back. So, these old habits, I just reject, dissociate. I feel that they are not me. Disown. Disown is right. I disown these wrong thoughts about me. These misconceptions about me, I disown. I welcome. I try to retain my original self, the real self. I try to be the original self. I try to be the natural self by disowning these unnatural ideas, imposed ideas about me. Any imposed idea is not true to my Atma. My Atma is of one nature. My conception about Atma is different. My conception about Atma is somewhat different. Different how? It is assuming the bodily qualities, functions, bodily relationships. So, I have to disown. Disown in my understanding. Disown not verbally, orally, not verbally, in my understanding. Understanding means in my own. Then what is the right understanding? My conception about myself, an identity about myself, a thought about myself should be true to my real nature. It should be true to my real nature, not unlike my different from my real nature. What is my true nature is self-evident. See, you have a conception about myself. There's a general example. This helps you to understand the Mula Vidya mistake also. The mistake in Mula Vidya. We have a conception about something, a perception or conception, whatever you say. A perception or a conception. How do we know the perception or conception is right or wrong? Right or wrong depends upon whether the conception is true to the reality or it is slightly distorted. Reality is one nature, reality is one way, and I perceive it slightly differently or wrongly or in opposite way. Reality is of one nature, I perceive it differently. This is distortion. This is called misunderstanding. Now, how do I know it is a misunderstanding? But how do I come to correct it? So what Shruti, what others gurus say is, this conception you have about yourself is not true to you. Real you is something different. Oh, you wonder, is it? Now you see, I have an understanding about myself. You mean this is not true to me? Yes. Come on, you verify. You verify yourself. So Shruti or Shastra, first a plant an idea in you. You put an idea in you. A conception you have about yourself is not true to you. It is a wrong conception. It is a wrong identity you have. Your real identity is something. Your real nature is something. But you have a conception about yourself is somewhat different. Oh, real? But this is what I am. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. You are in that conception. You are in that identity. You take it for granted and continue. Continue in that. You never think of questioning it. You never think of verifying it. You take it for granted and go ahead. Go ahead. I say, so what you take it for granted, anywhere in science or all other things, what you take for granted, Shruti puts a doubt in you. It asks you to question it, verify it. Is it you really? In the beginning, when you listen to the Shastra or Guru, he says, yes, this is what I am. Everybody thinks like that. I am an individual, I am a human being, I am like this. This is common to all. Where is the need to first verify? Where is the need to question it? And he says, I don't need to question. I am okay. There is no problem with my identity. I know what I am. I am correct. You ask anybody, everybody thinks like that. It's so common to all. It is natural. It is not common. It is common to all. It is natural. It is universal. Nobody ever thinks, if somebody thinks differently, then I may doubt it. See, what does the science say? Heart is on the left side. Everybody says heart is on the left side. But I am told there is a rarely in 1 crore, heart is on the right side. Heart is on the right chest. Somewhere rarely in 1 crore or 100 crores, one person. Somewhere I am told. So, what do you call real or natural? What you find commonly. If you see everybody thinks I am an individual, I am a body, I am an individual, then you say it is so universal. And we are not, it is not a special mistake of me, it is a universal. What is universal is natural. What is natural is a fact. This is what we go ahead with it. We take it for granted and go. We never think of questioning it. It's a Vedanta, puts a doubt in you, it is not real you. Oh, it's a shocking. It's a new revelation to me. You mean this is not me? But this is what I have been thinking. Yeah, you have been thinking. Not only me, many others. Yes, many others. Not only many others, all the human beings, all the living beings are that. Okay, let all the beings think, still it is wrong. Hey, you mean whole universal thought is wrong? Universal thinking, universal is wrong. On what basis? If you say all universal thinking is wrong, how? On what basis? It's just a wild imagination. On what basis? Science says you keep on watching. If you find one person different, then you have to say two ways. Either that one person is an exception and he is wrong, or we are all right, or that one person could be right and we are all wrong. Either of them. Either one person could be right, we are all wrong. Though it is more prevalent, it is common and universal, yet it could be wrong and the one person could be right. Or that one person himself could be wrong because he doesn't represent the universal understanding. Okay, but now there is no way of verifying. So on what basis you say that this conception, this understanding of myself is wrong? On what basis? So you have to verify. Verify means whatever conception you have, whether this conception is true to reality. What is reality? Look at the reality and see whether this conception of reality, this understanding of the fact, is it true to the fact, or the fact is one way and my understanding of it is different way. This verification is vichara. This is what Vedantic vichara. Now, this verification requires that the fact should be evident to you, evident, self-evident in your life. The fact should be self-evident. If a fact is not self-evident, how are you going to verify? Therefore, Vedanta starts with that self-evident Atma. That is Anubhava. That is everybody's Anubhava. So, Atma is self-evident. Regarding that self-evidence, you have a conception. The conception is wrong. We want you to verify that. Whatever you have a conception, verify it from the fact. Where is the fact? It is self-evident, it is in you. If you don't point out that self-evidence, and Vedanta, if you don't point out, then all your teaching will be only theoretical. That your conception is wrong, that you are not Jiva, all this will be, you will be listening like a story. You are not a Jiva, you are Brahman and all that. You listen like a story. All that he told and you have to believe. How do you know? It is his version. Somebody says somebody else. His own stories. You can hear number of stories like that. All these stories are stories. Nobody knows which is right. You don't know which of the stories is right, which of the stories is wrong. All of them could be fabricated stories. All of them could be cooked up stories. You don't know. Anybody could imagine any wild imagination. How do you know? Only if the Atma is self-evident. Start with that. Vedanta says you are self-evident. Start with that. Pay attention to it. And from there you start Vedantic Vichara. So you have a notion about yourself. This yourself, what are you this? This yourself, how are you? When are you? Whatever notion about self you have, do you have this self all the time? Yes, all the time I have. All the time means what? All the time in the waking state you have the same individual self. All the time means you always take waking alone as a reference point. You take waking state as a reference point and you say all the time I have the same individuality. Therefore it is universal, common, unchanging. It is all the time same, unchanging. That means you are taking only waking as a reference point. This is where Vedanta comes to you. Do you have this sense of individuality? All the time? Yes, all the time. No, you don't have in the dream. This is new, I never knew. Yes, in the dream, I don't carry this sense of individuality. I just wipe it out. I am totally another individual. In deep sleep, I have no conception about myself. This is, so Vedanta helps you to see, but you exist. You are existing. You exist the waking. See, the self-evident you, the self-evident Atma, the self-evident you who exist in waking state, the same self-evident you continue in dream. The waking world changes. Waking, your individuality changes. Individual conception changes. Individual conception in the waking changes in the dream. The dream individuality changes in the waking. Waking individuality changes in the dream. Neither sense of your individuality. No, I have no sense, no idea, no conception. No conception of individuality exists in deep sleep. But I exist. My self-evident existence is always there. So that is the reference point. With the help of it, you verify. If that is not there, you can't verify. Mula Vidyavadins say, one side they talk of Atma is self-evident. Other side they say, Atma cannot be taken as a reference point to verify this. Because Atma is unknown. It is covered by Mula Vidya, veiled by Mula Vidya. What is covered, not available for reference. Not available for reference. So, your self-evident experience or the self-evident Atma, not even experience. We call, okay, experience you may use, but it is a self-evident Atma. Self-evident is Atma, not self-evident Atma. Self-evident is not adjective to Atma. Self-evidence is Atma. Atma is self-evidence. It's a self-shining and self-evidence. So that self-evidence, self-shining is the criterion. You take that as a reference and verify whether the conception about you is right or wrong. They say the conception you have about Atma is same in all the three periods of time. In waking, dream and deep sleep, you have all the time Atma, this conception alone, that I am an individual. The sense of individuality. And the sense of individuality is produced by a covering, a veil upon the Atma. Self-evident Atma is covered. This is against experience. Once you call Atma self-evidence, again you say it is covered. It is a contradiction. Self-evidence Atma is covered, and that covering produces, that layer produces an individuality. And you have this individuality continuously in all three states, waking and dream sleep, deep sleep. Then what about that referring point Atma, non-dual Atma, self-evident? No, that self-evident Atma, you will come to know only after Jnanam. After Vedantic Jnanam dawns upon you, you will know. Before that, you have got only this conception. This conception, this Mula Vidya is covering all the three periods of time. All the three states, this Mula Vidya is a covering, is a layer. It doesn't allow you to see the self-evident Atma. So, self-evident Atma is always covered by Mula Vidya in all three periods, waking, dream and deep sleep. It's not available for reference. So, the identity, the experience you have of Atma, the conception, the experience you have of Atma is only dual experience, an individual experience. You don't have that non-dual self-evident Atma is not a matter of your experience. It will come later after Jnanam is dawned. We say it is there right now. You only have to start with it. You have to start with it and take that as a reference point and keep verifying your individuality. That's all you need to do that. Verify. Now, more and more you observe, you come to see that a conception about you is not true to real you. Real you is one. Your conception about you is always wrong. More and more you come to realize it. More and more this conception gets detached, debunked. It gets disowned. Oh, it's not me. It's not me. More and more I understand. More and more I discern. I discover. I understand. I feel I'm waking up. I'm waking up to my self-evident. This conception is not, conception is like a sleep. It is putting me in a wrong thinking. I'll be waking up from that wrong conception. The wrong conception goes away. So, in the wrong conception, there are many elements imposed on it, many qualities, many functions, bodily qualities, bodily functions, functions of the sense organs, qualities of the sense organs, functions of the mind, qualities of the mind. In the mind, again, two: one is mind, another is intellect. Mind is emotional, intellect is conceptual thoughts. So, I have got lot of thoughts imposed on me, lot of ideas about me, lot of opinions, lot of image about me, lot of emotions about me. So the emotional thoughts, ideas, all these things I have attached upon me, imposed upon me. So there are many elements. So this one by one I have to detach. I have to discover them. They are not me, they are not me, they are not me, one by one. So I have to discover for myself. Even after discovery, the discovery sometimes is vague. Therefore, I get a glimpse like thing, but again comes. Then at that time, you sit in meditation. In the meditation means you allow that natural self in you. You watch that this imposed one is not me. Not me. I am that, and this is wrong. So you disown this wrong identity and stay as that consciousness. So your conception about yourself should be true to yourself and not based upon body, based upon sense organs, based upon mind. It should be based upon Atma. True to Atma, not true to body, not true to sense organs, not true to mind. Now, I have, first mistake is an infinite Atma taken as an individual. First thing is I am an individual. Infinite Atma is taken as an individual. Atma is all pervasive. I take myself as a one place located here. Thus itself is the first original mistake. So, thus that individuality further added up. Time is added, space is added because location, then the body, mind, sense organs. So, all these things have to be detached. It means in understanding, because all this is a conception. This is a conception. Only in the concept, since it is a conceptual, correction also should be in understanding alone. In understanding alone, correction has to happen. Because the individuality is a misunderstanding, correction also should happen in terms of understanding, not in actual event. It's an understanding alone. So the misconception can be corrected by right conception. How? By verifying. Therefore, to verify, the self-evident Atma is the basis. That's why we say the self-evident Sakshi is always there. In between, there is no layer covering Mula Vidya. They put Mula Vidya. And that Mula Vidya is becoming a big hurdle in Vedanta Vichara. And because of Mula Vidya, they say that in waking, dream and deep sleep, in all the three states, you have a covering, you have a layer. Avarana, we call it in Sanskrit. Avarana is veil or covering, like that. So, you never have that self-evident Atma directly under your experience. That will come only after Jnanam takes place. How does it take? By listening. Vedanta teaches you, you listen, and Jnanam takes place. After the dawn of the knowledge, then you come to know it. Then until that, it will be only Paroksha. Paroksha means a remote one. You have to listen like a story. It's like a theoretical. You have to listen theoretically. You can't directly look into yourself. This is where the difference of Mula Vidya comes. So they say, no, you have no Advaita. Advaita is not there in your life. It has to come at later stage. One side they say Advaita is a self-existing fact. What is self-existing fact should always be present. Self-existing, self-evident fact is always self-evident. How can you say it is not there at one point of time and it will come at later point? That means it becomes limited by time. So then Advaita becomes a state. We say Advaita is not a state, it is a stateless. What is stateless is always time. It is beyond time. What is beyond time is always there. Therefore, what is always there you can find right now. Right now. Any time you can, whenever you turn this side, you find it right there. Therefore, turn towards that. So, pay attention to that self-evident Atma. It is spontaneously there. You don't have to work hard. It is there self-evident. And whatever thought you have about yourself, this is not true to your real self. What is the true? You see what you are in waking, dream and deep sleep. And what is underlying all the three states. What is underlying all the three states? That means what continues unbroken in all three. What breaks? What is obtained? What is available in waking gets broken in dream. What is in dream gets broken in waking. Or the waking replaces the dream replaces the waking. In fact, they cancel each other. But underlying the self-evident Atma remains ever. It doesn't get replaced. It doesn't get cancelled. Waking doesn't cancel the self-evident consciousness. Dream doesn't cancel. Neither waking nor dream replaces the consciousness. Waking is replaced by dream. Dream conception. Dream conception replaced by waking. They replace each other. But self-evident Atma is never replaced. It never broken, never covered up. It is always there. But I, taking this waking individuality as real, so I don't see, the common man sees this waking individuality is continuing in dream, is continuing in deep sleep. So the waking individuality, the waking conception is eternal. This is natural, eternal, unchanging. And it is true to me because what is true to me always remains. What is not true to me might change. And he says, you have no standpoint in life. You have no experience in life where you are free from that waking individuality. Waking, see, they say, Mula Vidya Vadins, waking individuality itself remains in dream, but it adds up one more conception. Mula Vidya Vadins Prakriya is, the same waking individuality goes into dream, but he assumes tentatively another individuality upon him. And waking individuality continues. And that then you wake up from dream, that additional dream individuality you give up, the same waking individuality is a common to dream and waking. The waking individuality is common to dream and waking. They put it that way. That means dream is a state within the waking. That's what it means. Dream is a state happening within the waking in one small corner of it. In one corner you have a dream which is a part of the waking. But the waker continues in dream. Within the waking, upon the waker, you have another additional one. If you have read Mula Vidya, this is not this thing. I have studied myself, I know them, so I didn't touch them. But I know I have studied them thoroughly well. First I was Mula Vidya Vadin and later MK. So I know all those details. I myself was a teacher. I was teaching like this. But later I changed. All that is wrong. So this way, so the dream individuality is a part of waking individuality. Okay. Then the waking individuality, what about deep sleep? Waking individuality doesn't disappear, but it remains in a thin form. In a thin, reduced, compressed form, in some manner which is so small, so subtle, so thin that it is unrecognizable to the common people, but it is a thin, subtle form. The individuality continues in deep sleep. You can never be free from your individuality. So, whether in waking, same waking continues in dream, Same waking individual continues in deep sleep. Therefore, by observing the three states, you feel that the same waking individuality with a slight modification continues in all three states. In the waking, it is a fully blossomed individuality. In dream, it is slightly a puffed up, means an additional one. So the waking individuality is partly covered and partly something else. And in deep sleep, all this is compressed and becomes a very thin and subtle. So you can never be free from your sense of individuality. Then what about non-dual self-evident Atma? That is there, Upanishad is telling, but you will get it only after the knowledge takes place. After Jnanam comes, only Jnani knows, you would not know. No common man, no human being ever has that non-dual self as your Atma. You don't have it, you have to. This is Mula Vidya. You listen to them. Hundreds and hundreds of books I have read them. I listen to number of Swamis, number of Gurus, they all talk like this. So Jnana, after Jnanam comes, you come to understand, not before. Then how do you verify? See, to verify, you require a reference point, the reality. If the reality is not available, how do you verify? The reference point is not there. So with this conception alone, you move here alone. Then they say, what is the proof that this individuality, duality is wrong and Advaita is right? He says, Shruti is the only basis. Or take the Jnani's Anubhava, if there is a Jnani. But Jnani's Anubhava is a third person for you, it's not yours. You have to believe somebody's words. All this going to come in Mula Vidya Nirasa book. Mula Vidya is meant for this only. All that he discusses there. So he says, in the second chapter he begins like this, and he says, it is a Jnani, an enlightened man. But enlightened man is not my experience. Whether it is enlightened man or Upanishad, it is same. Upanishad, I believe somebody's words. Enlightened man is somebody's words. Whether you say Shruti, Smriti, Purana, enlightened man, whether you mean a Sanskrit statement or English statement or any other statement, all are only third person's statement. None of them are my own experience. All of them mean the same. Whether you quote one book or two books or three books, or whether you quote a person, 1 person, 2 person, 10 person, it is same. All of them are not in my experience. It means the same whether one person or two persons. Whether book says or a person says, it is same, because you have to believe. It is not part of your experience. So how do you go about? He says you have to accept the Shastra. Shastra is a pramana. How? Because Veda is eternal, nobody created. Now they go to this, now theology go like this. Veda is eternal, it's not created by anybody, even God. God also only manifested. Along with the world it appeared, it remains eternal. Then the eternity of Veda, how do you prove? Then there is an elaborate process of logic and etc. How eternity of the Veda and all this. See, no other book is eternal. Every other book is written by a human being, whereas the Veda, it will come in the first chapter. In the first chapter of Mula Vidya Nirasa, that will come. So Veda is eternal, Veda is real. So it tells the truth. But any other book is written by a human being. Therefore, an individual outlook comes there. Veda doesn't represent an individual outlook. It represents the truth. Because first you establish Veda is eternal. They establish. First, Veda is eternal. Veda is impersonal. It is not a authorless. Impersonal means authorless. Veda is authorless, means the Vedic statement is not a statement of any individual. Therefore, it is an impersonal statement. Authorless, eternal. So first they try to establish Veda as authorless and eternal. Therefore, if Veda says I am Brahman, then I must accept. Accept means belief only. Veda says I am Brahman, okay. But it is only like a story. It's like a story I have to believe. But then we have to say, according to Veda, I am Brahman. but how, I don't know. He says, according to him it is like this. I can't say anything. It appears that I am Brahman, but you can't say how I am. So you can't even verify, because the anubhava you have, your individuality is all the time there in 3 periods of time: waking, dream and deep sleep. You are never free from your individuality. Then how do you know? So this becomes a matter of belief. Swamiji recovered here. Swamiji is recovered here. It is not a belief, it's a directly out. So don't bring Mula Vidya, and don't bring Veda as a what you call. First you try to establish Veda is eternal and authorless, then you believe the Veda and all those things. He says, don't bring that, because that gives rise to more doubts, more questions, because how do you prove that? Logic, but the logic can prove anything. If you say Veda is valid means of knowledge because Veda is eternal, and they say our Bible Quran also is revealed by God, therefore ours is also eternal. Only this what Muslims say, that the Quran was existing with Allah before, and only it was revealed before to Abraham and revealed to Jesus and others, but the later Christians distorted it. They could not retain that original Bible. They have humanly interfered, therefore God has to re-reveal. So Quran revealed it. Now we retain the Quran as it is, undistorted, therefore Quran is the real word of God. This is their logic. How do you say that it's a revealed word of God? Because nobody can write such a poem. Arabic poem is such a beautiful, humanly it is impossible to compose such a poem. Therefore it is a word of God. See the logic. This logic looks too shallow. It can be easily dismissed. Somebody can write in much better, somebody can compose a better poem, then you mean that goes wrong. So like this they give. So each one have their own argument. These people have that it is authorless and it is eternal, and for them they say it is revealed by God and not stated by human being. So each one is out of them, whose argument weighs more? Now it goes on, endless dispute, endless argument. So all this Swamiji discusses in Mula Vidya Nirasa first chapter. Anyway, we have to discuss. So during this I am not taking classes because I become tired. Immediately I can't speak because I have got strain in the throat. So I think after our things are over, I will start my Mula Vidya class. So he says, it is directly our experience, you watch it. So a statement only helps you to turn your attention to that. That's all. Upanishad only gives you a suggestion. This suggestion turns your attention towards you. That's all. That suggestion is Veda. It is giving you the Tattvamasi is a suggestion. It's an idea which is suggesting you, turning your attention towards yourself, and see, verify this conception of you, is it all the time there? It says it is not all the time. Your idea of yourself gets cancelled in dream conception cancels waking conceptions dream. Both get cancelled by deep sleep. In deep sleep is timeless. It is eternal, it is yourself. So therefore, this anubhava, avasthas are there, waking, dream and deep sleep are there, but we don't know how to look at them in a right way. We look at the states from the waking standpoint. We look at the dream from the waking standpoint. We look at the deep sleep from the waking standpoint. So, looking at the 3 states directly from the self-evident Atma, this is unknown to human being. Nobody can do. No, humanly it is impossible. Everybody taking himself to be a waking individual looks at a dream from the waking standpoint, looks at the deep sleep from the waking standpoint. Now, what is the right thing is, you are the deep sleep. That means you are the consciousness. So consciousness which is at the equal distance of the three states, and it is watching the three states. So stand as the self-evident Atma watching the three states. So this shifting of a vision, only Vedanta can do that. Unless Vedanta gives this suggestion, when Vedanta points out this thing, you get that standpoint, you get it. Yes, this is what I never knew it. Nobody knew it. This is a revelation. This is a new point. Once it is pointed out, then I get it. True. But before that, nobody gets it. Everybody looks as a waker alone. I remain a waker. As a waker, I look at others. I can never get rid of my wakerhood, my waking individuality. Anything you say, deep sleep, I look at as a waker, I look at the deep sleep. As a waker, I am going to deep sleep and coming back. As a waker, I am watching the dream, I experience the dream and come back. Take the waking as a basic and look at other as a basis. So you have to remove the waking as a basis and shift your vision to the Sakshi, the witnessing consciousness. Waking is also a tentative one imposed upon you. This shifting your waking individuality to the Atma which is self-evident. Take that self-evident as the reference point, that is the basis, and watch the states. So the very way of watching the states is shifted, changed. That is Vedanta. That is Vedanta. So that is Apaurushaya, that is authorless, or whatever you want to say. That suggestion, that idea, wherever you get it, that is Vedanta. Whoever teaches, that is Guru. If a book may teach you, or a person may teach you, or sometimes gods may teach you, or somebody, some rishis are there in other world, they may come in human form and teach you, or they may give you that suggestion directly occur in your mind. But you may get a suggestion, or you may recall your past janma, purva janma, you have studied Vedanta, or you listen to some rishi or somebody, that what you heard, it reoccurs again. Sometimes what you read a book long before, it again strikes you. What you studied long before, a book or something, it strikes you. Yes, I heard this long before somebody told me. Yes, now I recall. Recall means it occurs to you. Somewhere this suggestion should occur to you. So in Ramana Maharshi, that is not a person who has a waking individuality. As a waking individuality, if you are searching, you can never get rid of it. So some suggestion has to occur to you. That suggestion is not coming from waking individuality. It has to come from somebody who is beyond waking individual, who is a Sakshi. So that suggestion should come from the Sakshi, witnessing consciousness, not from the waking individual. So his statement, somebody who is standing as a Sakshi, from him means from that Sakshi, this suggestion should come. That may come through book, come from a person, or through come from your own rishi or some suggestion somewhere in a thing, in whatever way, that suggestion should occur, but not from your waking individuality. It is something beyond. So that wherever it comes from, that is Guru, that is Vedanta, that is Paramatma. That suggestion should occur to you. So some rishi may appear to you, some rishi or some godlike person appear to you and teach you. And that's a new revelation that you never knew it. In generally dream, in worldly dreams, whatever you have already imagined, your own individual imagines, you project in your dream. Do you dream that your waking individuality was false? Nobody can imagine. Because all dream experiences are projections of the waking mind only. Therefore, waking individual can never imagine that my waking individual is wrong. I am wrong, nobody can ever think of. Therefore, a suggestion should come from outside this me. This waking individuality has to be pointed out as wrong. Therefore, some awareness, some understanding, which is beyond my waking individuality, that understanding alone can make a suggestion. So that, how do you get it? If whatever way you get it, that is Guru, that is Rishi, or that is Vedanta, that is Veda. How you get, some Rishi may tell you, or somewhere it has to occur to you, but it should occur really, but it cannot occur to you who, if you are an individual. If you are still waking individual, all people are just waking individuality. If you can give up waking individuality, then you already know Vedanta then. If you can give up waking individuality and watch all the three states, that means that suggestion has already occurred to you. That Vedantic idea or that Upanishadic idea has already suggestion has entered into you. Somewhere it has entered. Some manner it has occurred to you. If it has not occurred, you would not know. If it has occurred, then Vedanta has come already to you. Either you might have listened to it somewhere earlier in your life, somewhere you heard passingly some reference, somebody told you, some Upanishad you are reading it, some suggestion it has occurred to you. So a sharp Vedantin, very highly mature sadhaka, just a little suggestion would be enough. For certain ordinary people, a repeated suggestion is required. This Tattvamasi, number of times he has to be repeated, otherwise he doesn't even believe, he takes it lightly. But some sharp person, sharp in the sense a mature, good vairagya, a good highly evolved person in spiritually, just one suggestion, it just touches him, it moves him. Then you say, oh, I never knew this thing. That immediately it reveals him, oh, I've been looking as a waker alone. Oh, now I got it. This is something more than waking. And that consciousness is watching even waker. It knows the waking comes and goes and I stand. Oh, this standpoint, I never knew it. You get it. If you got that thing, your whole vision is shifted. Whole vision is shifted. In you is the waking and dream and coming and going to you, and you stand as yourself. This suggestion, which turns your attention totally other direction, this suggestion wherever you get it, that is Veda. That is Upanishad, that is Guru. So, it may occur, but you can't argue that a waking individual alone himself can discover. How will you discover? You go to, can you discover? I'll give you a simple example. Can you see transparent mirror, pictureless mirror? Go and see yourself, with yourself. Mirror always reflects whoever is in front of you. Go and see a transparent mirror without a picture. Without your picture, can you see? Wherever you go, your eye comes, this in waking individuality. So therefore, a person who has seen that mirror already, he has to say, your individuality is interfering. The mirror itself is transparent. It doesn't have any picture. He wonders, true, is it true? You mean this picture is only mine, it is not there? Yes, it is not there. Oh, how do I know? You can't see yourself, you go and see. Each time you see, you will see your picture. You can never see blank mirror. So somebody who knows already has to point out. That is Veda, that is Vedanta, that is Guru, that is Rishi, whoever it is. So if Ramana Maharshi got it, either due to somewhere he heard it, or somewhere some Rishi came and taught him. So, see, we have got visions of gods, etc. Some rishis might have come, or in his Pura Janma, or somewhere, but it is not his own individuality has not done. Individuality can't do. Because if you go and look at the mirror, you will see your own mirror. You can never see a mirror without your picture. You try to see. Impossible to see. Therefore, if it is an individual self is searching, you will only see your picture, your individuality. You search all over the world, you will see your own individuality. How do you transcend your own individuality on your own? Can individuality transcend itself? Can my eyes transcend itself? Can I transcend? It's impossible. Therefore, some suggestion has to come. After receiving the suggestion, when I get a suggestion, I already transcended waking individual. Once you have already transcended, then you talk a lot. Oh, I know I am not individual. But how did you get that? It is something like, mirror is transparent. Whoever comes in front of it, that picture it shows. But mirror itself doesn't have any picture. Oh, I never knew. But how do you know it? If you see, you will see your picture. But the mirror itself is no pictureless. This nobody can find out unless somebody suggests you. This suggestion, this revelation has to come from Ishvara as Veda or something, whoever comes. So a person who knows himself can point out. Therefore, a jnani, a guru, who himself knows it, he can point out. If a person himself has not seen in his life, then he is only repeating a story, like in the Upanishad says, some Guruji told me. He doesn't see, he has not transcended his waking individuality. But he studied Guruji's words, he memorized the statement and coming and repeating to you. It is not his own experience. He has not discovered it. He is only verbatim repeating. It is something like a reporter. Repeats somebody's words. Therefore, some Guru, having studied as a book, having memorized the statement, comment. If you challenge him, he says, I too don't know, it is in the book I am telling you, how do I know? He can't answer. He can't stand on his own and answer. Because he says, I am reporting others. Upanishad says, Vedanta says, my Guru says. So, a person can talk to you directly on his own strength if he has seen himself. So you talk to our Guruji. Guruji will talk to you on your own strength. Without referring to book, he will talk to you. Because he has seen himself. He stands as waking individual and stands as a Sakshi. Then he can talk to you. You put question, cross question him, he will answer. But a person who repeats somebody's words, you cross question, he fails. You see in the lawyers, a person, you bring a wrong witness. If you bring a wrong witness, a coached person, we call him a tutored. You tutored witness is brought. He is not true witness. Yes, I have seen him. If they ask you question, tell like this, tell like this. They will tell him. And that fellow comes and tries to say a few sentences. The opposite lawyer cross questions him. He puts a question in such a way that he fails. Because it is a borrowed statement, it is not your own statement. If it is a fact, you put any question, you will not do. You put any question, any cross question, he will answer the correct alone. Because it is his real witness. Similarly, a person who transcends the waking individuality, you put any question. He doesn't need Upanishad, he can answer from his own anubhava. You put any question, you put any cross question, he will come out with right answer. But whereas, if it is borrowed, somebody's words, like Upanishadic words, if you cross question, he may try to argue. He will try to argue in the beginning. Further you question, a point comes, he can't answer. Because he himself standing as a waking individual. He doesn't know how to transcend waking individual. So, standing as a waking individual, if he is talking, he can't answer. He won't be able to answer. If you question one more, then he will say, I don't know, I have to say, our Guruji told I am repeating. That's all. So, it is only borrowed statement. He is only like a reporter he is talking, not from his own understanding. Therefore, if a person sees himself, then he talks independent. He may use Vedanta. He says, see, Ramana Maharshi used Vedantic language and explaining. He says, Ramana Maharshi studied Vedanta after enlightenment. Therefore, even if he uses Vedantic language, Vedantic prakriya, etc., we can't accept as Ramana Maharshi's own words. I tell you, any jnani talks like this. Even Shankara also talks like that. Do you mean Shankara also borrows from this thing? He talks from his own anubhava. He uses Vedantic statement. Any enlightened man does the same thing like Ramana only. He talks from his anubhava. He uses Vedantic language only for others to communication. He doesn't depend upon Vedanta. If Vedanta is not explained sufficiently, he adds all the matter from his own anubhava. See, Vedanta says some statement. If a person doesn't have his own anubhava, if another man cross questions, he doesn't know how to explain. He says, this is what Upanishadic says. But a really enlightened man, if Upanishad statement is not sufficient, he will add from his own thing and explain everything. No, the statement is not, that is incomplete, that is not sufficiently clear. It should be understood this way. It should be understood this way, he will explain. The other person who borrows the statement, he says, yeah, Upanishad says like this, but it doesn't appear to be true to our anubhava, but it looks contradiction, I don't know how to explain. He gets stuck someplace. But a real enlightened man, he will, if necessary, he will correct even Upanishad. No, Upanishad statement should be like this. It has to be understood like this, otherwise it will go wrong. Therefore, any enlightened man doesn't depend upon the book. Book is only a medium uses for him. What is already there, he is already Brahma. And his own Brahmanubhava, he talks through Upanishad. So even in tradition, whether Shankaracharya or Vedavyasa or Vasishtha or any enlightened man, He transcends even Upanishad. Upanishad is only a tool. Upanishad is not a final truth. Truth is you. Atma is the final truth. Therefore, these people, those who say, no, Ramana Maharshi used Upanishadic words, Vedantic words, therefore Ramana Maharshi is different. Different means, did he get a different Anubhava? Different Brahma? If you study Upanishad, you get one Brahma and Ramana Maharshi is another Brahma. Do you have two Atmas? Ramana Maharshi got one more Atma and Upanishad gets another Atma. Are you two Atmas? The self-evident consciousness is same. Do you have two consciousnesses? Or do you have different Atmas? Everybody is the same Atma. Anybody discovers the same thing. So, whether you learn from English or Sanskrit, any language, it is the truth is same. Whether you look at this mirror or that mirror, it is the same face. Or you look at the mirror here different and you go to your house and look at the mirror, you will see the different face. All the faces are same because the mirror has to be transparent. It shows the whatever it is. Therefore, whatever you discover, so whoever knows himself as the Sakshi, that the self-evident Atma, so standing as that Atma he talks. So therefore, Upanishad is a tool, whether Ramana Maharshi uses or you use it, it is the same. Supposing you set aside all Upanishadic statement, you use your own language, but that will be another language, Adhyaropa only, that will be another Adhyaropa. All language which we use, all Upanishad is only Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means impositions for communication. Imposition means what? What is imposition? You are in one angle of looking. Supposing this person, I have to show him where is the moon. See the Pratipada moon. Pratipada moon means after the, what you call, Amavasya, what do you call? No moon, what do you call? After Amavasya, first day or second day, you see the small moon, thin moon. And that moon, when rises, it is not clearly visible. There was a tree. Branches were there. So other person is trying to point out, do you see the tree? Yes. Then next see the branch? Okay. Then go to the still smaller branch? Okay. At the end of the branch, over the branch you see, yes, now I can see. So to be able to focus his attention, you show the bigger entity. Then go to the smaller. Then smaller. Then behind it, yes, now I see. Otherwise, in a vast sky, somewhere thin moon, you won't be able to see. This is called a Shakha Chandra Nyaya in Sanskrit. Shakha, branch, Chandra is moon. Shakha Chandra, branch and moon. So here, this person, I have to show him this point. He is facing this direction. What do you say? Left to the left of you, you say. Where is it? It is to your left of you. Then he says, it is, now I got it, he says. The other person is facing the side. You have to say, right of you. So, to one person you have to say it is on your left side. To another person you have to say it is on your right side. So, it is Adhyaropa. Then is the thing on the left side or right side? It is neither on the left side nor on the right side. It is where it is. This left and right to the person is required. Therefore, we do Adhyaropa depending upon where you stand. If you are facing this direction, to that person, it is taught that you turn to your left and you will find it there. This person is facing this direction, you tell him turn to your right. Or the other person is facing that side, you say turn totally round, turn round. So this turn round, turn left to turn right is only Adhyaropa. Similarly, depending upon where you are, if you are in body level, then we negate the body. If you are in mind level, we negate the mind. If you are in sense organ level, so wherever you are, seeing the disciple according to his need, one Adhyaropa is done and certain negated. So these are all simple negations. Ramana Maharshi is using one way of negating, Upanishad is doing another way of negation. So ultimately everybody is negating. These are all Adhyaropas. No, Ramana Maharshi is different, this is different. These are all childish way of talking. First thing is he doesn't understand the truth. He is only classifying these things alone. See, to one person, he is standing there, he says, turn to your left, you will find it. And another person came this side. No, you can't go this way, you have to go right side. And you say, what is this? To one person, you say, turn to your left. Another person, you are telling, turn to right. What is this? Because two people are coming from different directions. That person is coming from that direction. You tell him on your left side, you will find Karyalaya. The other person comes from that side, you say to your right. So to depending upon the person, you have to give a different direction. So Ramana Maharshi is using a different, but therefore Ramana Maharshi's teaching is different, this is different. No, he is not Hindu and he is not this. What is all this nonsense? It's a childish. Because he doesn't understand neither Upanishad nor Ramana. He is only trying to manipulate both. First thing is, are you here to learn or you want to manipulate and impose your own self, your own thing? This is called a missionary mindset. You want to impose. You don't want to understand. You understand. If you understand any one thing, you mean that both of them mean the same thing. He is doing one adhyaropa, he is doing another adhyaropa. Both of them, ultimately all are negated and you come to the Atma only. All are negated. Ultimately Atma alone remains. It's not that Atma is, do you mean Atma is in the book? You feel your Atma is in the book? Where is you find you? You find consciousness in the book? If I give you book, you open the book and do you see the consciousness there? It is only a suggestion. The word only means a suggestion. So it is here. It is you. Atma is here. Book is only a way of presentation. It is only turning your attention in this direction, that's all. All Upanishads mean only turning your attention, because your attention is focused in one direction. You are fixed. Sometimes the fixation has to be relaxed by karma yoga, vairagyam, detachment and etc. Because mind is deeply attached to it. So you have to little loosen it so that it can be easily shifted. First karma yoga, values, the devotion, love and bhakti etc. Just to loosen that fixed attachment. The excess of attachment has to be little loosened. Once it is loosened, then shift it. Shifting is easy. Otherwise it won't shift. See? Sometimes if it is too fixed one, you try to shift it, it won't shift, it will remain like this alone. Just loosen it, then turn your attention. Oh, that's why we say first karma yoga. Have little vairagyam. Then teaching of Vedanta works. Because turning your attention is, otherwise you remain fixed waking standpoint alone. However times you teach, you listen all that standing as a waker, you listen. You imagine deep sleep from the waking standpoint alone. Nothing will work. All Vedanta goes waste. This is what's happening. Therefore, whoever says ultimately that the waking individual, you stand as a waking individual and look at it. You don't move from your stand. Vedanta means helps you to drop the very stand. You stand as a waking individual and you keep on looking at that alone. You are not ready to move from that thing. So Vedanta helps you to move away from that stand, that the waking is not you. There is a consciousness in which your waking individuality is a thought. Waking individuality is a thought, in you a consciousness. Once it is pointed out, if he is in a right mood of listening, instantly he gets it. Otherwise, it takes some time. Again and again and again, repeatedly we point out. So a number of times you pointed out, sometime when his mind is in a good mood, a correct relaxed mood, attentive mood, then instantly he gets it. Oh, it's like a flash it happened. Oh, now I got it. I have been listening years together, I didn't get it. Once in flash you get it. Oh, this is the point, now I got it. So it's like a scientist like Eureka, we call him the discover. A scientist European told son Eureka, somebody. Eureka, I don't know, you call the same thing. So he discovered it. So you keep on watching, suddenly it clicks you. That clicking is discovery. Something it strikes in you. It has to flash in you. That is a discovery. Vedanta is not a conception, memorizing statements, that shloka, this shloka, all these are superficial. It's only a way of telling. We respect, in the beginning we give respect to Bhagavad Gita, Upanishadic mantras, etc. because he is a beginner, he has to start little upasana and etc. Later it has to flash. Once you flash, all these Upanishads waste, you throw away. What do you have all these things? It starts to flash in you. And once you are the Atma, and whatever you say, that becomes Upanishad. Because once you stand as Brahman, the truth, anything you say, that is a Upanishad. Your statement becomes Upanishad. And later you see, what you say becomes the same thing. Upanishad is talking of the same. Whatever you say, sometimes we could see, whatever says these enlightened gurus say, you go and look at the Upanishad, the same statement with a slightly modification, same thing you find. We wonder, how does the Upanishad says the same thing thousands of years ago, what he says it? Because the truth is same, is only pointing out, that's all. So it is the same thing. Whether you say Bhagavad Gita says, or Upanishad says, or somebody else says, Shankaracharya says, or Ramana says, it is the same. Therefore, it is pointing out. And once your attention is turned, you give up your waking individuality, you stand as a self-evident Atma. You are there all the time. Timeless, spaceless, infinite existence. Then the whole the world is imagined on you. You are not the world. World is within you. You are Brahman. That's all. This discovery is what Atma. Once you discover, there is no world for you. You don't exist in the world. There is no world for you. You don't exist in the world. You are not a person living in the world. World itself is a thought. Do you live in the thought? Or thought is only imagined upon you. You don't live in the thought. Atma is not in the thought. Thought is only imagined in the consciousness. Consciousness is not in the thought. Whole world is only a thought. Is a conception, like a dream. So Atma is not living in the thought. How can you live that? You are independent. Thought is only imagined upon you. This understanding takes place. Then he is a free person. So he is free from death and birth and etc. Whole world doesn't exist for him. So he is free. So whether Ramana or Shankara, it is the same. So you divide because you take the external things, superficial things. Words that he spoke, it's like classifying the words, past tense, present tense, future tense, or English language. He used English term, he used Kannada term, he used some French term, these are all superficial, childish ones. So this doesn't make any difference. It is the real inner suggestion. Therefore, the whole Vedanta touches there. Therefore, the Avastatraya Viveka, in that examination of three states, the right way of examining. So the Vedanta has a vision, and it is trying to impart that vision to you. You are looking yourself wrongly. That wrong vision has to be corrected. A right vision has to dawn upon you. It clicks in you. It strikes in you. What is a striking? Yeah, it strikes, it clicks in you. That is Vedanta. That is Mahavakya. When you get it that I am not an individual, instantly you discover you are an infinite. That is Mahavakya. Then once you discover the Atma, you are Mahavakya. Atma is Mahavakya. Where is Mahavakya? So that Mahavakya is Brahman, your own nature. That's what it is. I think it's enough. I will tell tomorrow.